What's up, Kyle's Garage viewers, and welcome back to the channel. On this one, we're going to do the 6-speed swap, and this is going to be the removal process. And we're also going to talk about the differences between the MTX75 and the Getrag 6-speed. And I'm not going to delay at all, so straight to the video.
I hate these damn focus.
Alright, just going to take a brief intermission now that I've got it all apart and kind of go over the transmissions and what's different between the two. Alright, this is the MTX75, that's the 5-speed that came out of it, and over here we have the Getrag 6-speed that is going to hopefully go in. But I've already been looking at them both, been looking at all the parts, and I do realize that there's a difference between these two, and I'm going to go over it real quick with you. Alright, and as I was looking at all the different things, there was a couple things that I knew that I needed to check. This spline, and then you look over here, coarse splines. Known as finer splines. And of course the clutches and flywheels are different. I'll get to those in just a second. So the other things that I was wondering is the mounting. Will it mount correctly? Now there's two mounts on a Focus. There's this top plate mount, which I know is identical to the SVT. The Getrag and the MTX75 have the same mount. Now, this is like their little torque mount, and this bolts right there on the MTX75. You can see it has like a little thing, and this is right where my thumb is at. That's where the mount actually goes underneath the car. Okay, so let's look at the Getrag. Similar two holes here, but then it's got this hole here, basically taking place of this. So see that? It'll definitely bolt up to that. I'm certain of that. But the thing is, this is gonna mount, this bolt will go through this threaded hole and receive the mount. So basically what needs to happen is this needs to be just chopped off. So yeah, no second chances on that. Okay. The other thing I was wondering is if the shifter cables were going to work. And the big thing is, I'm pretty sure the cables are the same, but the distance from where the cable actually mounts to where it connects to, I measured that distance. And I measured it on both sides of the cable, where the cable would go. And then I came over to the Getrag and measured exactly the same place. Now it's kind of loosely, anyway, but like I was saying, it's all the same, about 5 5/8 or so on both sides, and that was the same on the MTX75. Okay, belt housings obviously are fairly identical. The only difference is this flat piece right here, and it's not on the MTX75, but the bolt holes are the same, so we're good there. The other question at hand is the axles, which I have here. And these are the SVT axles. Let me get kind of close up. Okay, you'll see that they have like this serrade, and then pay attention to this distance here. Of course, these are both for the SVT transmission, and this is the MTX75. Let me show you the difference real quick. All right, now if I hold up the short shaft, you can see that the SVT axle, which is underneath right now, is much shorter and has to come out like that. Now these axles are technically different, and the differential housing is a little bit thinner on the SVT, so that stub is a little bit shorter, okay? And if you notice, the splines are much finer on the SVT, seemingly much finer on this. And the differences are quite similar for the long side. All right, now here's the long side axle. And again, as you can tell, the stub portion is much shorter than on the MTX, the 5-speed. It's much longer than the 6-speed one. So, and it's got these weird serrades in the, where it slips in. And so, but they're pretty much the same, except for this intermediate shaft is longer on the SVT one. So we gotta go with the SVT stuff. All right, over here at the clutch assemblies, this is where the trouble begins. So, as you can see, they're both clearly different. This is just kind of a standard, straight up clutch flywheel assembly. This is a dual mass flywheel setup, clutch setup. So let's just pull this cover off. And it's a real shame that this has to come apart, because that looks really good. Like, barely any heat checking. That's really good. And the clutch disc itself is like brand new. It looks awesome. Flywheel on this one, pretty standard flywheel, but this is where things are going to start getting real weird, so I'm going to leave this one out. Okay, we got our dual mass pressure plate here. Very interesting piece. It's kind of heat checked. I don't really care. It's going into the Focus, which doesn't care either, so it looks kind of crappy, but whatever. Very interesting, strange clutch setup, this dual mass. And the clutch disc itself looks okay. The wear bars are they're fine. It looks good. Plenty of life left on that. I mean, it's a little chewed up. Like I said, I don't really care. I'm gonna beat it up anyway, and I just want this to work. This is just, we're seeing if it works. Okay, now this is where things get weird. It's got that dual mass thing, but it might be hard to see on camera, but the thickness of the flywheel is much greater on the SVT, this one, the dual mass, than this. So here's the issue at hand. Factory flywheel bolts. When I stick them through, there's a decent amount sticking out. All right. Well, obviously using a short bolt on a thicker flywheel leads to having just a little bit of threads here. So I had to call the Ford dealership in the end and order new bolts, which I hope will be right. And it's not gonna be cheap. So yeah, let's hope that's all good. Yeah, let's hope those bolts are gonna work. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this part. Be on the lookout for part 2 of me trying to reassemble everything. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. It makes me feel really good, lets me know I did a good job, and it helps out my whole YouTube algorithm thing. So don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already. If not, tell your friends to subscribe. Alright guys, be on the lookout for part 2. Take care, I'll see you next time.